The country needs to know that Republicans believe in IVF, that we support it. I've never heard one Republican senator up here say anything else. I've not heard any state trying to take this down.
IVF is a medical miracle. I am a strong supporter of IVF.
Well, that's curious because shortly after Republicans like Roger Marshall and Ted Cruz made those speeches, literally all but 2 members of the Senate GOP voted against protecting IVF at the federal level.
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team.
The Right to IVF Act would establish a federal right for individuals to access IVF-assisted reproductive technology services, for providers to offer the procedure, and for insurers to cover it. Those rights could not be hindered by states. So the vote was 48 to 47, well short of the 60 votes needed to advance the bill. Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins were the only Republicans to vote in favor of it. The rest of the GOP said the legislation was too political and that it went too far. Instead, they tried to advance a more narrow bill that would cut off Medicaid funding for states if they banned IVF, but it didn't address concerns about what happens to unused embryos. On the same day that they literally voted against protecting IVF, Republicans came out in droves claiming to love IVF. The Senate Republican X account actually posted, "Senate Republicans support IVF." Attached was a letter Republicans had signed that read, "Senate Democrats have embraced a summer of scare tactics, a partisan campaign of false fear-mongering intended to mislead and confuse the American people. In vitro fertilization is legal and available in every state across our nation. We strongly support continued nationwide access to IVF, which has allowed millions of aspiring parents to start and grow their families." And that was a joint statement from Republican Senators Katie Britt of Alabama and Ted Cruz of Texas. Senator Rick Scott even had the audacity to release an ad proclaiming his support for IVF. But is this really fear-mongering from the Democrats? Just a few months ago, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that frozen embryos created during the IVF process should be treated as full human beings, which means discarding them could be considered manslaughter. Wow. Plus, House Speaker Mike Johnson has previously signed on to legislation that would give a fertilized egg the rights of a person. And just 2 days ago, the conservative Southern Baptist Church voted in favor of a resolution condemning the use of IVF. When asked whether he agreed with the Southern Baptist Convention's stance that IVF is unethical because a frozen embryo is a person, Senator Tommy Tuberville, Republican of Alabama, said he wouldn't go so far. But he then suggested he was ambivalent. I'd have to look at the science on that. Friendly reminder that Tommy Tuberville is a retired football coach, not a scientist, by the way. But the Republican caucus is trying to act like access to IVF would never be threatened because it's a political third rail for them. IVF is overwhelmingly popular with Americans. In one CBS YouGov poll, 86% of respondents said IVF should be legal. 86% of public support is practically unheard of. But as we know, even in a democracy, the majority doesn't always rule. So what do you guys think? Is this just a Democratic scare tactic, or do the American people have a legitimate reason to be concerned here? What do you think, Cenk?
Yeah, my favorite is when they sign a letter saying that they're in support of IVF. You're supposed to sign the bill, not a random piece of paper. That doesn't count. Okay, so look, if you were in support of IVF, you'd have a fantastic opportunity to prove it. There's a bill right in front of you. And what did you guys do? You voted no. And so look, I looked into it because it's possible that sometimes they do like these tricks and they put in something that's unacceptable in the bill so the Republicans will vote no. So like, oh, we're protecting IVF. Plus, if you sign this bill, all Republicans are jackasses, right? But looking into this, no, they had no such thing. So the complaints of the Republicans were like, well, this might affect fetal personhood, so we don't want to sign it because we think maybe fetuses and zygotes and things that live in petri dishes might be human beings. Well, then you don't support IVF. That's the whole thing about IVF. And then they're like, well, the second problem we have with this bill is that if you support IVF, as the Democrats are doing here, well, then you might be able to throw away those petri dishes, and we don't want you to do that. We think those might be human beings. Then you're not for IVF. You're saying the exact opposite of IVF. So no, there's definitely one party being duplicitous here, and it's definitely the Republicans. So look, there aren't that many things where Democrats and Republicans actually disagree. There's a lot of like chitter chatter and fake fights and, oh yeah, what about Hunter Biden? Oh yeah, what about hula hoops, right? Lots of BS distractions. But this is a core issue where they have real disagreement. Democrats are not gonna take your right to have a baby through IVF. They're not gonna take away your right to control your own body. It doesn't benefit them. There's no donors that want it. So they're on the right side of this. The Republicans, they can't say yes to the simplest bill where on an issue they're even pretending to be in favor of, but they can't sign it because at the end of the day, they're religious zealots. They're like American Taliban. So they're like, the petri dish is alive. Don't throw it away, it's alive. All right, brothers and sisters. So just be honest, but they're not. They're frauds. Trey.
Yeah, I'm not for one am shocked that the Republicans are saying one thing and doing another. It's so unlike them. I mean, Yaz used a word in her report and describing it, audacity. That's what I feel like. I just can't imagine having the audacity of these people to like make such easily disprovable public proclamations about my own principles and beliefs and stuff, and then still be able to sleep at night. But just par for the course for them. But it's definitely, like she also said, it's a third rail. They have to know it is a losing proposition. That poll showed it 86-14. I mean, just speaking anecdotally, having lived in the South for years, I've known so many like good Christian Southern women who like had IVF or needed IVF to have a baby, like working women in their 30s or whatever, used IVF. It was never any kind of, I never even heard it come up like in abortion, debates or arguments in the South as being problematic or nothing. So I know that it's not something that is as broadly demonized by these people as just abortion generally, and they know that too. And I mean, they've already pissed women off so much, rightfully so, with the Dobbs decision, and the timing right now to openly antagonize even more of them, they know is politically problematic. But I don't know if maybe they're just thinking that most Americans, what they take in more is just the sound bites and the Fox News headlines and the things they say or the little ads they put out or the tweets they make versus their actual actions. And maybe they're just trying to hope that is the case and that'll carry them through. But I don't know. It just seems like more unwinnable bungling from them to me. So I guess we'll see.
But Trey, I don't think it's bungling. And my guess as to why they're doing it is because Republicans have figured out lying works. And the reason that it works is because they then turn around to the voters and go, "What? I made a video saying that I was in favor of IVF. I signed a piece of paper. What more could I do?" Right? And then they turn around to the Southern Baptist Convention. They go, "Don't worry, we're still in favor of the American Taliban. And the minute we get a chance, we're going to snatch away all their rights and we're going to turn all the petri dishes into human beings." And the Southern Baptists are like, "Hallelujah! You're awesome. I love the way that you're going to take away all them goddamn rights. Now remember, this ain't a secular country, okay? Good Christians are in charge, and we're going to make those women go back to their bad old days." So that's what the Southern Baptists want. They just said that that's what they want. So that's why the Republicans are like, "Oh, don't worry, Southern Baptists. We're just as monstrous as you guys are. We're just pretending by doing fake ads and signing blank pieces of paper."
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you had to impersonate my papa in the middle of that, but otherwise, no, I mean, I agree with all that, and I mean, like I said, I think that they're counting on people, listening more to what they say and the things they tweet in the video. We put out a video, we signed a piece of paper. I agree with you. I guess I shouldn't have called it bungling. I just can't help but classify everything they do as bungling from my perspective. But yeah, no, it is calculated, and that is what they're banking on. So.
And to be fair, Trey is right. I use that Southern accent sometimes when I get mad at the Southern Baptist Convention, et cetera, right? But you could just as well be like, "You know what? I think that all women should have rights."
Yeah,
why not?
That's what I do. Well, then you'd be stealing my thing. So, but yeah, no.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.